Hi, this is DK, and in this video today I'm going to show you how to configure Yoast SEO WordPress plugin. Now, Yoast SEO is probably one of the best SEO plugins available for WordPress, and until about an year and a half back, there used to be this plugin called as All-in-One SEO, which would take care of everything related to SEO on a WordPress blog. But then once Yoast SEO introduced their features, I think they've gone out to become the best SEO plugin ever that you can find for WordPress plugins. And the best fact is that Yoast SEO is free of cost, so there is nothing that you have to pay for them. And you can find that in the WordPress repository, so you can directly install that from within your WordPress blog. So in this quick video, I'm going to show you some of the settings that you need to keep in mind when you're going to install and configure Yoast SEO for your WordPress blog. Now, this is one of my blogs, and you can see here I have installed Yoast SEO, and these are the options that you would normally find under Yoast SEO. So first, let's go to the General tab, and you can see here under the General tab, these are the options that you normally find. So this is basically an introduction tool which gives you a tour of what this plugin is. Then this gives you the latest changes that have been introduced into Yoast SEO, and this will help you restore your default settings. You click on this tab here, your info. Now here you have these two options. The first one is a website name and an alternate name. You can see here the details are written out here about what exactly these configurations are for. So for example, in the website name, you can see it's written Google shows your website name in the search results will default to your site name, but you can adapt it here. You can also provide an alternative website name you want Google to consider. So which means that this is the name that will appear in all of the Google search results. So if you want something else to show up than the name of your website, then you can enter that here. Otherwise, I would recommend that you leave it blank. So I have left it blank because this is the name of my website, and this is what I want to show up in Google search results. Now you can leave all of this default. This is just some of the basic information. You can select person here and you can enter your name here, but that's also not required. You can leave that as it is. When you go to this third tab, this has webmaster tools. So this has all of these verification IDs, basically the Alexa verification, Bing webmaster tools, Google search console, and Yandex webmaster tools. So when you click on this, it'll open these websites. So for example, if I click on this one, it'll open a website which will basically be for Bing. You can sign in here and get the code and enter that code out here. You can watch my video on how to get these codes or these meta values for Google Search Console and Bing Webmaster Tools if you don't know how to get that information. So just paste that information in here, and that is all that you need to do. Go to the fourth tab. This has security. All that you need to do is just ensure that this is checked and then click on save changes. And once that is done, you can move on to the second option, which is titles and metas. So now under titles and metas, you can see these are some of the options that are available. The first tab is general. So there is nothing that you need to do. You can just keep it the way it is. Go to the second option, which is homepage. Now here you mention a title, and the second one is for a meta description. Now what you need to ensure is that your title has to have your primary keyword in here. But at the same time, ensure that you're not writing a very long title here. Ensure that it is short and sweet but has your primary keyword in here. In the meta description, what you'll have to do is enter about 160 odd characters describing what your website is all about. But what you need to keep in mind is that you need to include your primary keyword and a couple of secondary keywords in the meta description. So just enter whatever you want to appear as your meta description out here. And like what I said, keep in mind that you need to include one primary keyword and a couple of secondary keywords in here. Once that is done, click on save changes, and then you can go to post types. Now here, there is absolutely nothing that you have to do. Just leave all of it the way it is because you don't want to fiddle with all of this. It's already pre-configured, so there is nothing much that you will have to do about it. You can go to the fourth tab in fact, which is taxonomies, and you should find that that is also pretty much taken care of. There's nothing that you will have to do. You can leave it the way it is. Now, just a word of caution here. Under post types, if you're seeing something like this, the title template is looking something like this, then what I recommend is you delete everything else and keep only the title option out here. You can see here, this is how it will appear. Only the title option in posts, pages, and media. So ensure that you do this if it is not configured this way. Now, once that is done, you can move on to the fifth tab, which is archives. Just leave it the way it is. All that you want to do is under duplicate content prevention, just click add no index followed to the author archives, because you don't want the author archives to be indexed, because this can lead to a duplicate content problem, because it is going to be pretty much the same content that is going to appear in the author archives pages, which will appear in the home page as well. So it's better that you check this so that it adds a no index to the author archives. Similarly, check this option here for a date-based archives as well. So once that is done, just click on save changes so that it saves. And moving on to the last tab, which is others, you can leave all of it the way it is. You don't want to check any of these, and once this is done, just click on save changes and you should be done. And you can move on to the third option, which is social. You can see here everything has been left blank, but what I would recommend is that you enter each of this information here, because Yoast SEO has a very easy and a simple way to add the social graph code to your websites or to your WordPress blog. And it helps if you are able to add all of these links out here. So you can enter your Facebook page URL, the Twitter username, Instagram username, Google Plus URL, YouTube URL, all of this, and click save changes. Post that, you can move to Facebook, and you can see here this option is checked here. It adds the open graph metadata to your website or to your WordPress blog. Just ensure that this is checked, and you can save changes here. You can move on to Twitter. You can ensure that this is checked so that it adds a Twitter card metadata. Then move on to Pinterest, and you can add your Pinterest verification code here. All that you need to do is just click on this link here. It will take you to Pinterest, where you can verify your site and get the meta tag that you can then add here, and click on save changes. Similarly, it is the same that you will have to do with Google Plus. You can check this to add a Google Plus specific post metadata, but I would recommend that you keep it unchecked because you don't want to do that. And you can go to the Google Plus page and get the link of the publisher page and enter that link here and click on save changes. So once you've done with the social options, just go to XML sitemaps. Here, this option, basically what it does is, this is a feature that comes in Yoast SEO. Yoast SEO generates XML sitemaps for your WordPress blog. Google requires an XML sitemap to be submitted to your webmaster tools because that helps in faster indexing by Google, and it also helps in ensuring that your blog or your WordPress website is crawled by Google regularly. So that is what this option does. Just ensure that this is checked because you want to enable the XML sitemap functionality. And if there is any other plugin that you've installed which basically generates the XML sitemaps, I would recommend that you disable that one and uninstall it and use the Yoast SEO XML sitemaps, because this is more efficient and better than any other sitemap generator plugins. So once the general option, you've checked this, click on save changes. You can move on to the second tab, which is a user sitemap. Just ensure that this is checked and click on save changes. Move on to post types, and you want to uncheck the posts and the pages here. And you want to check this because you don't want to include the media or the attachments in your sitemaps. And you can save changes. You can go to this excluded post. There is nothing much that you need to do here. And under the taxonomies tab, again, there is nothing much that you need to do here. So that's it on configuring the XML sitemaps. You can then move into the advanced option here, which basically has these three options enabling breadcrumbs, permalinks, and RSS. So you can check this box to enable breadcrumbs on your website, because this is again a good way of ensuring that your website follows the rules for search engine optimization, because it is good to enable breadcrumbs on your website. So you can do that. And if you go to permalinks, it basically, you can see here, it basically deals with the way the URLs on your WordPress posts and pages appear. So you can see here there is nothing much that you need to do. Don't check any of these boxes. All that you need to do is to ensure that you clean up the permalinks. So you can check this, which will remove the stop words from the URL slugs, so that words like, for example, to, the, all of these words will be removed from the URL slug. So it's a good thing to do. You can ensure that this is checked. And moving on to the last part here, ensure that all of these is unchecked, because you don't want to hide any of these links on your WordPress blog. If you check any of this, then there will be a code that will be added to the header portion of your WordPress website HTML, and that will hide each of these links. So ensure that all of these are unchecked. Once that is done, you can go on to the next tab, which is RSS. Here again, it is very simple. There is nothing much that you have to do. Just leave the default settings there. There is nothing that you have to change. Just ensure that you have this piece of content that you are seeing here. Just let it be there. Don't delete that, because what this does is this helps you in case there is somebody who kind of scrapes or copies content from your blog using your blog's RSS feed. So in such a situation, what happens is this specific piece of text gets added towards the end of the content, and that way you indirectly get a link back to your original blog post from the site which is kind of copying the content from your blog post. So just leave it there and then click on Save Changes, and then we can move on to the next setting. Then moving on to the next option, which is Tools. So here basically we have some very handy tools that are built into Yoast SEO. So the first one is a bulk editor. I'll show you basically what that is. While there is nothing much that you need to do about all of this. Now this is where you can edit your posts in bulk without really having to go into each of the posts there. You can see here, this helps you add a Yoast SEO title here. And this is basically a description where you can enter the description for each of those posts. The second option on the tools is a file editor. Now this basically helps you edit your robot.txt files. You can see here, you don't need to go into your hosting server, into the HTML of your website, into different files of your website to find and edit the robots.txt and the .htaccess files, but you can do that directly from within the tools section in Yoast SEO. But I would recommend that you don't edit any of these, because if you're not sure about what you're doing, then I think you should leave both of these files the way they are. So don't fiddle with these files, you can leave it the way they are. Moving on to the next option, which is the import and export. Now, if you've already been using some other plugin, like for example, the all-in-one SEO plugin or the Platinum SEO plugin on your blog, and you want to move to Yoast SEO, then don't worry about going through the entire copying and pasting of information from one plugin to the other, or importing the configuration. You can do all of that by using this specific option here, which is called as import and export. It's very easy. It's a one-click import. So it's very easy for you to import the settings from any other SEO plugins. And the last one, basically what it does is when you click on this, it recalculates the SEO scores for your website with the focus keyword. Move on to the last option here, which is basically the search console. Now, Yoast SEO has built this also into their plugin, so which means that if you've already added the Google authentication code here and you authenticate your uh, Google Search Console account, then you should be able to see the basic settings in your Google Search Console here itself in your WordPress dashboard under Yoast SEO. So it's a very handy option. But if you don't know what to do about, how to go about configuring this, or where to find your Google Search Console account and things like that, then I think you can leave this the way it is. There is nothing much that you need to do. And the last option is some of the extensions that are available for Yoast SEO. You can see here, these are all premium extensions. So you can, if you decide to buy any of these extensions, you can click on this and you can buy any of these extensions that you really think you need. So it's that simple. Yoast SEO is extremely easy to use and configure. Now, once you've installed and configured, I should quickly show you what happens when you're adding a new post. So now this is your WordPress editor, and if you're adding a new post, you will find that there is an option here called as Yoast SEO. Now here again, there are some basic edits that you will have to do. Once you've written your post, you'll have to add a focus keyword here. For example, if my focus keyword is how to train dogs at home, then this is going to be the focus keyword. What you'll have to do is you'll have to edit this title here and ensure that your primary keyword, how to train dogs at home, is there in the title. Similarly, you can edit the meta description here. Just ensure that you have this keyword in the meta description as well. Similarly, you can also edit the URL here, and you can add, ensure you can add something here so that your primary keyword kind of appears on the website URL as well. And once you've done all of that, there will be a content analysis that will be run on the content, and you should get a score out here. You can see here, because I've not really configured anything, this is showing an amber light out here, and you can see most of this is red or amber, and just about a couple of things are green. Now what you need to ensure is that you get most of these green, and if you're able to do that, rest assured that your post has extremely good SEO, and it'll be pretty easy for you to rank on the first page of Google. Now there are some other options out here which are advanced options. I'll recommend that you leave it the way it is. Don't fiddle with any of these. You can just leave it the way it is and ensure that you're configuring this, and I think that should be more than enough for from an SEO perspective for your WordPress blog. So I hope you understood how to go about configuring Yoast SEO for your WordPress blog. If there is anything that you would like to know more, or you have a confusion on, or if you have a doubt about, don't forget to write to me. I'll ensure that I respond to each of your comments and respond to each of your questions if you at all have any questions on configuring Yoast SEO. So until the next video, this is DK signing off. Thanks a lot for watching.